Alrighty. What is going on, everybody? Welcome and welcome back to the show. Happy Monday. It is Chaos and Charcuterie Live. I am your host, Brian K. James. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, I feel so good. I feel so great. How was your weekend? How are you feeling? What are you excited for going into the week? Drop down in the comments and let me know what you're most excited. Oh, no, wait, I'm back. Okay. Sorry, guys, on YouTube. I just accidentally cut out. I was trying to put my banners up and I accidentally swiped out of the whole thing. I'm still getting used to this tablet behind my phone. But what's going on, y'all? Like I was saying, I feel grateful. I feel good. Have a week's worth of interviews going on. We have people on the show. I have interviews. I have meetings and opportunities coming up. I just have a lot to be grateful for, and I'm really thankful. Let me know what you guys are thankful for this week. Hey Tosh, what's going on, love? How are you? Mwah. Um, yeah, I just feel good. I just wanted to start off talking about, feeling good, feeling great, looking gorgeous. I think I look good. But yeah, let's get to the show and then so we can get to the shit. Okay. Listen. Today on the show, we had the comedian Danny Murphy. He is the host of Virtual Reality on Page Six. Make sure you guys go follow him. He also hosts the show Not Another True Crime Podcast. He's a comedian. He's hilarious. We had a great time. We laughed most of the time. I think I threw away my questions, or at least most of my questions, and we just kind of sat and kikied about, pop culture and reality television. So you make sure you guys go and check out that conversation. It was really fun. And also make sure you guys check out my interview tomorrow. I'm going to be having Travis Ware. If you guys know, he was on The Shit We Do for Love on YouTube. He was on season 4 of Chasing Atlanta. He is the executive producer and one of the hosts of the show The Group Chat on Chasing Reality on YouTube. Such a great talk show. So proud of all of those guys. And we had a great conversation. Um, so I can't wait for you guys to see that. I can't wait for you guys to be a part of that conversation. Um, yeah, Travis really dropped some gems, and I really learned a lot from our conversation because he's in the same space that I want to be in the longevity of my career. For anybody who follows me and watches this show or listens to the podcast, you guys know that I my long-term goal is to, have a day job in radio, have a night job as a talk show host, do this podcast, have a production company that produces a whole bunch of podcasts and produces a whole bunch of music and live shows and performance art and all that other stuff. So, with him being in the talk space and the podcast space, being in the talk space and the reality space being one of the main subjects I cover, as well as one of the spaces that I want to work in, I was really excited to have a conversation with him. So that interview will be out tomorrow. Make sure you guys check that out. I'm so excited. Also, I want to thank Winter from the show Love and Marriage DC. She had a live and she was having people come on and say hello and chit chat, and I decided to jump on because I had a couple questions. She's on the show Love and Marriage DC. She's a full-time cast member this season. Their season premiere just aired. She wasn't in the first episode. Her first episode is episode 2. It is titled Winter Storms. So make sure you guys check that out. It'll be airing this Saturday. I do not know the time, but check back with me. I'll be here all week and we'll talk about it. But yeah, as I was saying, she had a live, she was talking about it, and I jumped on just to say hello, but I really wanted to ask a couple questions and just thank her for agreeing to come on my podcast. She'll be one of the interviews that I have coming up in the future. So make sure you guys stay tuned for a conversation that I have coming up with Winter. But I also wanted to kind of jump on and just ask her a couple questions in the moment and just, get a feel of how she's doing and how she's feeling and just kind of thank her for coming back, one, and thank her for bringing something very unique and different and relatable to my uniqueness to the show. And so she allowed me to come on, have a chit chat with her, and it was really fun. So thank you, Winter, for having me. I'll definitely be staying up with you and, keeping up with your lives. So make sure you guys follow her, keep up with her on Love and Marriage DC, which airs on OWN on Saturdays. Yeah. Tosh Boogie Fox says, "That's my girl. We always chat. That's my fave. She's so dope." Yes, she's amazing. Since I've booked her on the show, we've definitely kept in touch, and she's very sweet. She's very nice, very supportive, and she always has something good to say, which I appreciate. So, she's always really fun, and I can't wait to see where her tenure on the show goes this season, in her new dynamic and in her new role as a full-time cast member. So congratulations to her. Thank you again for having me. Thank you, Danny, for coming on the show. Make sure you guys go follow Danny at Cashmere Danny. Make sure you guys go and follow Travis Ware at Travis D Ware. Make sure you go follow Winter, and I think I'm Simply Winter, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not positive on that, but I think it's I'm Simply Winter. And yeah, stay tuned for all the people that we have coming up on the show. This week we have Travis Ware, Juju Andin, Chauncey McQueen. There is somebody that I am missing, and I feel like a douchebag. Let me go back. Travis Ware is on Tuesday. Juju Andin is on Wednesday. Mark with a Q. I thought he was next week. I'm sorry. And I just put him in the post for the week. Anyway, Mark with the Q is Thursday. Chauncey McQueen is Friday. But yes, thank you to all of you guys for coming on the show. Stay tuned. We're going to have a hell of a week. These conversations are so amazing. Yes, I'm Simply Winter. Thank you, Tosh Boogie. Thank you, Tosh Boogie Fox. It's in the comments now, so make sure you guys catch up and I pinned that comment so y'all can go and follow her too. So now that we've gotten to the business, let's get to the shits, shall we? Y'all heard about Tori Spelling dropping all this money on Denise Richards' OnlyFans? Um, I, I don't. Let's just read the article. Speaking of page 6, um, she's one of she's one of Denise Richards' biggest fans, apparently. Tori Spelling admitted that she spent a whopping $400 in 2 days to subscribe to the Wild Things actress on OnlyFans. I've been friends with her for years. I was just kind of fascinated by the whole OnlyFans, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like, let me check it out. What is it entail? The former Beverly Hills 90210 star 49 revealed on Friday's episode of Sirius XM's Jeff Lewis Live. So I looked at it, and of course, it shows you like, unless you subscribe, you can't get it. So of course, I subscribed under a fake name only to come on and talk about it. Okay. Spelling told the host Jeff Lewis that she just wanted to see how far Richards 51 was willing to go with her content on the subscription-based platform. If this has been your, I'll save it for the end. It's riveting because they're like, hey, we might show you this in the shower. And I just wanted to see if my friend is like, hey, how far is she going? The Scary Movie 2 actress said. Spelling then explained how she got sucked into spending $400 on Richard's OnlyFans. They say allegedly if you tip them, they get back to you faster. So I was like, hey, love, what I'm seeing, would love to see more. Hey, oh, sorry. Hey, love what I'm seeing, would love to see more. I end up in the course of 2 days spending $400. I couldn't stop. Richards launched her OnlyFans account last June, a week after her ex-husband, Charlie Sheen, criticized their 18-year-old daughter, Sammy Sheen, for making an account. Yikes. Okay, so that I really don't care about. If you know, you know. But Tori, I, girl, you. Okay, so this shows me that clearly you and Denise Richards are not close friends. Because if y'all were close friends, why wouldn't you just call this girl on the phone and be like, "Girl, what you doing on OnlyFans? Like, girl, what you over there doing? You over there taking feet pictures or you popping pussy? Like, what's going on?" Like if this was your friend, like I feel like Niecy Nash wouldn't like I feel like Sherry Shepherd wouldn't spend $400 on Niecy Nash's OnlyFans. I feel like Niecy Nash would not get caught up sucking people out. Not Sherry Shepherd. I feel like Sherry Shepherd would call her friend and be like, "Girl, what is you over there doing on OnlyFans? What's the tea? Like, girl, what you over there and Jessica doing on OnlyFans? Like, what's going on?" So clearly y'all ain't friends like that. Like you've known her for years, but y'all haven't been friends for years. Let's be very clear on that. But God bless you. Um 400, like what did you see? What did you see? Like, cause it dove into a whole bunch of other mess instead of talking about what she actually saw on the OnlyFans. That's what I'm trying to get to. What did she see on the OnlyFans? Okay. You know, they get to talk about OnlyFans and what people do on OnlyFans. I'm like, girl, we don't care about you and we don't care about Sammy's OnlyFans. Like, what is Denise doing on OnlyFans? That was the whole point of this article. So we don't even find out whether she's showing feet up or popping pussy or not. This was a fail. This was a fail. That is category clickbait for me. To me, that is clickbait, and I don't like it because we didn't. Girl, what is she over there doing? Because I'm not subscribing personally because I know she got a high ass subscription rate. One, and then on top of that, she's probably one of the people who only posts like her like previews and on the public, and then to get to the real shit, you got to pay for the individual videos and the messages. Child, the girls be going in on OnlyFans. Don't ask me how I know. Just go read Twitter. That's all I gotta say. If you want to know what the girls is out there doing on OnlyFans, just go read Twitter because that's how I found out all the girls tea on Twitter. Speaking of finding out people's OnlyFans tea on Twitter, shout out to Nico's Aesthetics as well because you have taken over the internet. Yo, not your video doggone near leaking. Well, not even leaking. It's not even leaking. It's a full-blown promo that came out of Nico Aesthetics. And he's a YouTuber who does all type of content revolving the queer person of color space. And he's a great guy. He's a thirst trap and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So a video came out. Well, it's more so of a meme, and he you just gotta go see it. If you know, you know. It's so funny. I just can't deal. It's so funny. Hey Dave, how you doing, baby? Shout out to Nico, but I ain't going in on that. Anyway, back to the show. Um Child, let's get back to it. Sha'Carri Richardson. I don't, and let me remind you again, I don't read a lot of these articles before I choose them for the show. I choose them based on the headline and then I react to the article live on air. So if it's a clickbait article, I'm going to react to it being clickbait. If it's a great article, then I'm going to react to it being great, but I'm not going to know. I'm just going to react to the headline being interesting and then I'm just going to go in based on what I read. Just so we're clear on that. Sha'Carri Richardson kicked off of a plane after argument with a flight attendant. Okay, this is from the New York Post. The 23-year-old claimed the flight attendant, whom Richardson identifies as John, disrespected her while speaking on the phone prior to takeoff. She posted video of herself in her seat before panning to the flight attendant. Prior to the video, this gentleman asked me to get off a cell phone call, and I did. Richardson captioned one of her videos. I stated to him I didn't like the tone he used with me. Following that, while standing in front of me, Doing the safety protocols, he continued to lean over to look at my phone. He asked to see that my phones were in airplane mode at this point. He demanded that he demanded that I show him, which I did in front of him, which I feel like is completely fucking weird. It's unclear where Richardson was traveling from or to, which ain't none of our business. But she wrote that she was vacationing. She continued to argue with the flight attendant in her video, and after showing him on camera, he moved back behind a curtain. After asking her to stop recording, Richardson responded animatedly at the flight attendant. The flight attendant's initial comments towards Richardson were not shown in the video. I'm recording me, but you jumped in my video, so I caught you. Because you jumped in my video, Richardson told the flight attendant, you're harassing me at this point, so I think you should stop. I think you should stop. Multiple passengers can subsequently be heard getting aggravated with Richardson, telling her to stop arguing with the flight attendant. Y'all see him, right? Y'all see him, right? Y'all see him, right? I'm sorry, it's not me. Richardson responded, talk to him. No, ma'am, don't talk to me like that. I am an adult. Do not talk to me like that. Do not talk to me like that. Tell him to stop. If you do not know what's going on, do not yell at me. Which I feel like is a fair point. Why are they automatically taking the side of the flight attendant? Why are they automatically not questioning? Like what happened to the customer is always right. What happened to the customer is always right. And why would they automatically jump to the person in the seat being the problem? Unless they can hear everything going on and she really is the problem and we just don't have the full context of the conversation and the altercation. But I wonder because it's like the way she's making it sound like they automatically jump to the defense of the flight attendant. Richardson got into another argument with a different passenger as she claims she was disrespected by many of the passengers on board. While explaining that she thinks the flight attendant should have been kicked off as well, another passenger can be heard telling her, "Thank you, by the way. I'm going to miss my connection. I have to now get off the plane." Oh, so you're worried about a connection when a grown man is disrespecting me? Richardson responded. I don't give a shit. The passenger responded. Richardson was then escorted off of the plane and continued to trade shouts with passengers and flight crew on her way out. Applause could be heard as she's exited. Tell me if I'll be wrong to pursue legal actions against the airline American Air. Not only did the man threaten me, but also an innocent bystander who simply just wanted a picture with me. In the beginning of the video, you can hear a Caucasian male state he doesn't give a fuck as a man that a flight attendant is intimidating a woman. Not surprising. Richardson posted, also the captain not doing anything to help the situation, and this flight attendant has the applause when I exited the plane when I'm pretty serious. The disrespect I received would not have happened if I was one of them. I wonder if by one of them, did she mean a white person, a flight attendant, or specifically a white flight attendant? Clock your references, children. So yeah, I have questions because it does seem like, you know, everybody did jump on her, and that does leave me with questions like why is everybody so easily jumping on your back and making you the antagonist in this situation? It does leave me with questions. However, I do understand that situations can happen and that, you know, who knows? Do you get what I mean? So it's like there's a lot of things like as a person of color, as a person of intersectional experience, it could be a whole host of things, but one of those whole host of things could also be that she may have been just blatantly combative and people was tired of her shit, and she may have just not been complying with the rules that were being set for her in the situation, and she was just being disorderly, and she decided because she was a person who was a celebrity that she was going to try to use the live to leverage her situation, and that shit backfired on in her face when those people were like, "No, get your ass on up out of here too." Like, no, gone. We on his side. We not taking your side just because you famous. So I could see how this situation could swing in both directions. I just wonder. I would love to hear this. This is the one time that I really want to hear like outside opinions and witnesses and like outside people looking in and innocent bystanders. This is the one time I want to hear that because it's really interesting to me just how the people turned on her so quick. And then when it became like, oh, she was trying to like ask them for understanding, they were volatile with her. Like they were hostile with her. Do you get what I mean? It's like, how did that turn so quickly? I don't understand. But shout out to the person that missed their connection. I hope they got a quick flight. I hope they got to wherever they was going to on time, I guess. Like, I don't even know what to say to that. But it just does seem like kind of crazy to me. It's just really insane. I just am like, that leaves me with more questions than it does opinions. I really don't have an opinion on it. I just really have questions. That's really it for me. Um, I have a couple of stories about people suing toy companies, specifically musicians suing toy companies. Let's talk about the Black Eyed Peas, and then we're going to talk about T.I. and Tiny. And the only reason I was going to read this T.I. and Tiny story, well, never mind. Black Eyed Peas sued toy company over singing pooping unicorn. Lord have mercy. Um, Black Eyed Peas musician, sorry, Black Eyed Peas music publisher BMG Rights Management has taken legal action against a toy company over alleged similarities between one of their iconic tracks and one sung by a pooping unicorn. The Poopsie Slime Surprise Dancing Unicorn is created by MGA, the company behind Bratz. According to the lawsuit, the toys sing a song called My Poops at the push of its heart-shaped belly button. However, the track allegedly rips off the group's 2005 hit My Humps. The lawsuit, via Reuters, reported the alleged similarities in the song's melody, lyrics, chords, and other elements. BMG has also said the singer of My Poops sounds very similar to Black Eyed Peas singer Fergie. My poops, my poops, my poops, my poops. What you gonna do with all that poop? All that poop, sings the toy. Now, mind you, I don't know if it was actually sung like that, but when I read the lyrics, I read it in the style of the song because that's how I read it before I read it to y'all. Like I quick skimmed it. Okay. I drive my parents crazy. I do it every day. It continues on my humps. Black Eyed Peas Fergie sings, I drive these brothers crazy. I do it on the daily. I love that fucking song. Um, BMG that have claimed that the Poopsie Slime surprise toy line has earned MGA tens of millions of dollars, and part of that success is down to My Poops, which was also used to advertise the product. MGA apparently also ignored a cease and desist, ignored cease and desist notices, plural, from BMG. BMG have asked the court for at least $10 million, 8.7 pounds or euros, I'm not exactly sure, in damages, but have declined to comment on the case. Last year, will.i.am told NME that, oh, sorry, this story comes from NME.com, by the way. Last year, will.i.am told NME that he was working on a new Black Eyed Peas album. We've been working on it actively for the past months and keep recording while on the road. Okay, that has nothing to do with this story. So, it sounds like a ripoff to me. You know what I mean? Um, for me, this isn't as ambiguous or as gray as, say, when Taylor Swift said, "But the player's gonna play, 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 and the haters gonna hate, hate, hate," and then all of the grown people all of a sudden was like, "Wait a minute, what the 3LW was going on? Why is Taylor trying to break all these promises, promises?" Yeah, it's not as gray and murky as that, because technically 3LW were not the first people to say players are going to play, haters are going to hate. But they do have a hit song called Players Gonna Play where they do sing it, and the style that it's sung in on Taylor Swift's song could, who knows? Their lawsuit is still going on. However, it's not with actual 3LW, it's with the people who wrote the song or with the producers of the song. So Keely made that clear in an interview on I believe Carlos King's podcast, Reality with the King, um, that she's not actually a part of the lawsuit. 3LW isn't not a part of the lawsuit, and that's the producers of the song's business. So, but in this case, I haven't heard the song, and the only reason I didn't play it here is because I don't want to, deal with the whole mess of it all. But in the lyrics, it does give very my humps, my hump, my hump, my humps. Like it gives that in the lyrics. So we'll see how that goes. I'll listen to the song and I'll follow up with you on that tomorrow because they have it linked in the thing. Yeah, we'll see. And if y'all have heard the Poopsie Slime, which what type of toys are y'all producing nowadays? Like what type of toys are y'all kids buying? Like what is going on with toy production? That there's a toy out here called Poopsie Slime. Like, well, I mean, I guess look at the most predominant genre in music right now, rap, and y'all be having the craziest names. Some of y'all rappers be having crazy rap names. Some of y'all rap names are buck wild. I'm just saying. But I guess that's neither here nor there, and I can assume the connection between the two, which is why we're in this mess in the first place. Shout out to the Black Eyed Peas and shout out to Fergie, who for me is the original white female rapper, and to me is the first female rapper and the only white female rapper until Iggy Azalea stepped into the scene. But we're not gonna have a conversation about that today. Um, let's go to the T.I. and Tiny story, who are suing um the maker of the OMG dolls. Okay. T.I. and Tiny's OMG Girls trial begins, claim popular dolls stole group's image. Y'all remember the OMG girl? Y'all remember the OMG girls? And I'm like, oh, 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 oh. You Betty, and you know, and I let that show. That's my joy. I still listen to Betty. Shout out to y'all. Clifford T.I. Harris and Tamika Tiny Harris have filed a lawsuit against MG. Okay, so I'm glad that I did decide to put these two stories together. Once again, I don't read these ahead of time. I don't read these ahead of time. That was a natural reaction. I did not know. So the Black Eyed Peas and Ti and Tiny are both suing MGA over stealing likenesses. Okay, let's dive in. Claiming that the company copied the likeness of their group OMG Girls for their line of LOL Surprise OMG dolls. Rolling Stone's Nancy Dillon reported the couple is seeking economic justice in their lawsuit against the company. According to the report, the lawyer representing MGA asserts that the husband and wife have no claim to MGA profits, calling the lawsuit a shakedown based on fabricated claims. They want tens of millions of dollars from MGA Entertainment for doing absolutely nothing, and I do mean nothing. We're going to show you that the OMG girls actually copied us and now complain we look like them, said their lawyer, Jennifer Keller. They were trend followers, not trendsetters. Wow, that's aggressive. T.I. and Tiny's lawyer, David C. Shepard, presented images of the OMG dolls in outfits similar to those worn by the OMG girls during the trial. He also claimed an email on MGA servers from December 2019 proved the company was not only aware of the OMG girls, but understood the consumers had confused their dolls with the group. What your eyes are showing you is that there was copying, there was inspiration, there was actual confusion. There was evidence of confusion in MGA's ranks. Shepard explained. OMG Girls was formed in 2009 and included T.I. and Tiny's daughter, Zanique Pullins, Lil Wayne's daughter, Reginae Carter, who didn't last in the group very long, and sisters Baja Beauty and Lourdes Lolo Rodriguez. The group eventually evolved into a trio when Carter exited in 2010. See, that's what I be talking about when I say I don't read these ahead of time. Pullins has testified in the trial as the first witness, standing on the uniqueness of the OMG Girls' style, as MGA attributed vibrant looks and colorful hair to the likes of Rihanna, Katy Perry, Nicki Minaj, and Lil' Kim, underscoring the alleged cultural impact of the Atlanta-based pop group. Didn't lots of teenage girls when you were a teenager wear fun clothes? Asked Keller. How fun are you talking? OMG fun or regular fun? The now 26-year-old responded. OMG fun is random. It's colorful. A lot of girls don't just put 3 shirts and tutus and walk around outside and go to the grocery store. I don't believe that. No. Keller also alluded to using allegations of sexual assault and abuse against Tiny and T.I. as proof the company would not have associated its brand of dolls with the Harris family. It is not a family most people would want their children to emulate, and you're going to see why that is in evidence produced throughout this trial, showed Keller. The trial is expected to last 3 weeks. Okay, this was an article in Vibe magazine that was published to Yahoo. So if you want to go read the article, go to Vibe magazine. Or go to vibe.com, excuse me. So I don't have any cut and dry feelings on this one. Excuse me, I'm eating a candy cane for the people who are listening to this on the podcast. My bad. I forgot about the ASMR of it all. But in this case, it doesn't necessarily seem as cut and dry, but it does seem like there is a case because of the timeline. The OMG Girls were launched in 2009, and unless they were in talks with the LOL surprise line of doing dolls with the OMG Girls before they launched in 2010, then to me, I don't understand how they would have copied those dolls that didn't exist when they were launched. I could see it if they had a style change once the dolls came out, and like y'all were able to track a change in style from then. But I was a fan of the OMG Girls from the very beginning, and I don't remember them ever having that. Do you get what I mean? So it's very interesting. I am definitely going to follow up and see how that goes and continue to cover this and see where the trial goes and see where both of these people get to as far as the Black Eyed Peas and the Harris family. It's funny that both of them are suing MGA, and I just didn't even put that together until I read them. This is kind of the fun for me of reading these articles live. I get to just kind of react to them in real time, and like whatever y'all get is like really, really, really what I'm thinking in the moment. I freaking love that. But I think we've done enough of the articles today. I think that's taken up the first half of the show. Excuse me. I think it's time to move on to Hey Ashley, which is the segment where I give unsolicited advice to people who write into other people's columns whose names all conveniently start with A for advice and hijack their articles, give them advice that they didn't ask for from me. So, starting with the GOAT, we're just going with Dear Abby, whose headline states, Dear Abby, after 15 years in a loving relationship, he came home to a note and his fiance was gone. Dramatic. Dear Abby, I'm a 55, a 59, excuse me. I'm a 55, and I just corrected myself and said it again. That's funny. I'm a 59-year-old man. My 50-year-old fiance lives in a nice home, but after a 15-year loving relationship, she decided last week to be with someone else. Excuse me. She had recently lost a great deal of weight, bought a new car, and started to do things I felt were no longer age appropriate, although I never said anything adverse about them. She's now staying in a weekly rental motel room with him. It leads me to believe that they both left relationships and had nowhere else to go. She didn't give me a chance to fight for us, counseling, etc., or even a heads up that she was unhappy. One afternoon, I got home from work. I found a note from her saying she was sorry for not being able to tell me in person, but she was doing this for herself. I have always been an honorable person in any relationship I've had. This is hard for me to understand and move on from. I have never been this hurt and emotionally drained. She will not communicate with me verbally, only through emails and texts. I feel desperate and lost. Please give me any encouragement that there is light somewhere at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel. Signed, emotionally drained in Maine. I love that y'all be trying to rhyme these. Dear emotionally drained, although your lady friend didn't give you the chance to fight for her by getting counseling, my first bit of advice is to make an appointment with a therapist and start fighting for yourself. You may not have known your fiance as well as you thought you did. Once you regain some perspective, you may realize that something changed. When she made the effort to start losing weight, I'm guessing this was around the time she met the man she's now living with. Please understand that the woman you invested so much time in was dishonest, cowardly, and selfish to have treated you the way that she did. I wish you had mentioned why the two of you hadn't married in the 15 years you were together. But, my friend, you dodged a bullet. A licensed psychotherapist will help you realize how lucky you are. Yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot of things that you didn't know. I think that there's a lot of perspective that you don't have when it comes to her. Um, I would love to know the details of how she lost the weight and what was going on. I would love to know like what the context is because um a part of it, like on one side of that, I to me it could read as, oh, she, lost all this weight, she's feeling good about herself. She met somebody in the gym, they started fucking around, and then all of a sudden they ran off together. You 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 know what I'm saying? It could be that, or she could be on drugs. Like on one side of this, as I was reading this, I was like, she's staying in a weekly rental motel that they just ran off together. Like what? Like were they? But like what? Like did they? What? Like that led me to believe that this was more impulsive than I feel like somebody who is thinking rationally enough to make an informed decision to leave to leave a 15-year relationship to go with somebody else should be making that decision under. I just felt like that led me to believe that she was less rational than she should have been when making this decision to leave this relationship. I don't necessarily blame her for leaving the relationship. I feel like the circumstances in which she left the relationships were sketchy because we only have one perspective on this. We only have one side of this. So we don't necessarily know what her side is. You may have thought that y'all were perfectly happy and she was miserable for God knows how long. And the time that she spent losing weight and doing all of this, you may have thought that things were just perfectly hunky dory and they weren't. You know what I'm saying? And then once they say that women check out of relationships before they leave them, and that a woman, when she finally decides to actually physically leave a relationship, she's emotionally checked out of that relationship a long time ago. So her actions just finally caught up to her feelings, and she was either getting her shit together, she was making plans, she was doing this. So maybe she checked out of the relationship a long time ago, and that's when she decided to start losing the weight. She decided to start focusing on herself and not focusing on the marriage. And she decided to just go and get her shit together. And then once she felt like she was adequate enough to get where she had to get, she met somebody, probably caught the hero syndrome, fell for him quicker than she should have, and she just jumped off a bridge. You know what I'm saying? Um, it all just leads me to have a lot of questions on both sides. Like, what was so miserable about your relationship that she decided to leave a home that she had built with you to go and live in a motel with this man? That's what makes me think of drugs. That's what makes me think like this is giving a drug tease. Like this is giving like, oh, you got issues. Like, oh, you jumping off of bridges. Like you out of here, out of here. You know what I mean? So it really does make me worried for her. It does make me confused. I don't understand. But I would love more context to that letter as to what was going on when she started losing the weight. What was her behavior change? If there was any behavior change when she started to lose the weight, like what was going on with her as this process, what was happening, and after she kind of got to a place where she started to like what she looked like, you know? Um, because I feel like that can give me a more informed opinion if I have more details on that. But right now, it's just kind of like, oh, okay. Like I hear you, but I don't really know enough to have an informed decision one way or the other, or an informed opinion rather than a decision. Um, I do feel like if she is someone who was impulsive enough to just leave the home that you built to go and live in a weekly rental motel with a man that I'm assuming she doesn't know as well as she knows you, being that y'all were together for 15 years. Um, it just all gives confusion for me. I'm not understanding what was going on in y'all household to make her want to just disrupt and dismantle that so quickly. So I agree. Your ass needs some therapy too, because I don't necessarily think that you're lucky. I think that there needs to be some self work on both of y'all part, because I don't. That just left me with more questions. I don't necessarily agree that you dodged a bullet and this and the third. I think that there was a lot going on that needs to be answered for, and I think that if a woman was that desperate to leave your home to just go live in a weekly rental, I don't know how much of that is completely on her, or if there is some part that you play in that there needs to be some accountability taken. You get what I mean? So, with that being said, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Um, let's talk to dear. Let's talk Ask Amy. Let's do Ask Amy because hers be getting crazy. Um, let's see. I did this one on the other show. Let's see. Okay. Dear Amy, I suffer from major depression and social anxiety. I moved to a new state and am slowly making friends. I live alone in a studio apartment, work from home, and I'm struggling with feelings of loneliness. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I want to get a pet companion, but I'm having a hard time deciding between a cat or a dog. I love both cats and dogs equally. I think a dog would be most helpful for me because I struggle with going outside and getting regular exercise. I am also introverted, so I'm hoping daily walks will help me meet new dog loving friends. However, I am not experienced and I'm very much a low energy homebody. I'm worried that having a cat will keep me in the same cycle of laziness as always. I'm wondering if it is okay to get a dog in order to help me become more active? What if it's a complete failure and I still don't change my habits? Is it best to just get a cat? I don't think I'd have the patience for a puppy, but a small adult dog might be good. I'd appreciate your advice. Signed, in need of a pet. Dear in need, you already know. Well, hold on, wait a second. Before I do that, let me take a quick break and reset my podcast because at the 45-minute mark, it always tells me to keep looking at the camera, and I feel like I'm not wrapping up at 10 till today. I'm just gonna be getting into this one, so I want to make sure that I get the entire um thing. So let me restart this first. Let me save that audio and then let me read the second part of this article in just a second. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. And we're back. Dear in need, you already know the joy of having a cat companion, so let's talk about dogs. Your reasonings for wanting one, companionship, being forced to go outside, are legitimate and are the same reasons that many people choose dogs. I agree with that. However, because you lack experience, I would caution you to choose extremely carefully. Does your apartment building allow dogs? How easily would it be for you to take the dog outside 3 or 4 times a day via stairs or an elevator? Whether you go with a cat or a dog, I urge you to look for a small, quiet, calm, older animal. Works closely work closely with your local shelter and take lots of time to find the best fit for you. My local shelter understands that adoptions do not always work out and insists that any animal adopted from them can be returned to them, no questions asked. Okay, so yeah, I agree with that. I would say if you don't feel like a cat is going to be conducive with you changing the habit that you already have, then I would say don't get a cat. Because it'll only be one of your checks off of your list, right? You'll have the companionship of a cat, but however, it won't necessarily get you out of your habits. However, if your apartment building does allow cats and not dogs, then I would say go with the cat. And it could force you to change your habits within the home because it could force you to be more active, keeping up with a cat. I've had both a cat and dogs, so I can kind of speak to this. Having a cat does keep you active, making sure you know where they are within the home when they just kind of tuck off and go at night, go and explore, making sure they're fed, have water, spending time with them, and like making sure that they get to know you, making sure that they understand who you are as their owner, getting them comfortable with you, making them, affectionate towards you. Which also goes into dogs, but like um cleaning the litter box, all of that stuff, like that will keep you active as well. So I feel like that will be a way to softly step you into engaging in different personal habits, but not jumping head first. I feel like as I'm talking this out with you, I feel like maybe you do need to get a cat as something that is more conducive with your current habits, but is a change enough for you to kind of gradually grow in your shift into different habits. I feel like maybe a cat will help change your habits just enough without completely taking you out of your comfort zone, but will still give you enough um structure and change to, build your habit making process so that, it's like baby steps. You know what I'm saying? Like getting a cat is baby steps, getting a dog is like a full-blown plunge. You know what I'm saying? I feel like um, I definitely think a cat would probably be more conducive for you in this moment because you lack experience with dogs, one, and then two, you already know cats, so you have experience with cats, and also, you know, it may be easier for a more gradual change. I feel like you may not, if you're looking to just plow straight ahead and go completely shift, like do a complete 180 shift all at once, then that may be the conversation that you want to have about getting a dog. But if you want to gradually baby step into changing your habits, I feel like getting a cat will be the better decision for you. um yeah, I totally agree on that. Where am I at? I'm at 10 till officially. Let's see if I can squeeze in one more before we go. Let's see. Dear Annie, I'm tired of the way my partner favors his ex-wife and their children over our family. Ooh, do I have time for this? Okay. Dear Annie, I see that you often answer questions pertaining to families trapped in addiction. I grew up in that special hell with all of the complex trauma issues that go along with that lifestyle. I am a card-carrying member of the Al-Anon Alcoholics Anonymous and Adult Children of Alcoholics. ACA I have found ACA the most helpful. You never mention it, so I thought I might bring it to your attention. The Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families goes beyond Al Anon. Um, sometimes I sometimes these addictions were in the previous generations while our parents didn't drink. All of the emotional non-sobriety was there. ACA teaches us to go back, reparent our inner child, which I need to do, then learn what we didn't receive as children, then reparent and provide the love and support to ourselves. Just a suggestion, you may want to research and find it useful. Alternative around alcoholism. Oh, so this wasn't even a question, it was more of a suggestion. I love that. Dear alternative, a wonderful suggestion indeed. Many things. Many thanks. Eh, you're right that ACA reaches past the Al Anon to help those plagued with experiences of alcoholism, but also general dysfunction in their childhood and home lives. Some chapters are still being developed, so if you're interested, consult the web to see what options are available in your region. Um, that was probably helpful for me, and I didn't even know because I may need to reach out to ACA. I've been dabbling and considering getting into cognitive behavioral therapy because I feel like I became aware of cognitive behavioral therapy maybe a year or two ago, and what that is like unlearning the behaviors that came with your traumas and like kind of reprogramming your way of thinking around the situations that you've been through and like how you function in the world, and you kind of learn how to not base them on your traumas. That's my interpretation of what I've learned about cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm not an expert, but the ACA may be another alternative for me to look into, instead of going with full blown therapy or like with like, that route. A support group may be a good baby step for me. We were saying in the last story how a cat is a baby step, a dog is a full blown plunge. Maybe ACA is a good step for me, and then um, cognitive behavioral therapy will be a good plunge, because I have my struggle with therapists has been that I feel like therapists don't do work with me. I feel like there's no work to like restructure or like alter my living with my traumas, or like how I navigate within my traumas. I feel like it's always, when I've gone to therapists throughout my life, it's always been somebody just giving me a platform, or like giving me somewhere to go, or like or like someone to talk to. And for me, I feel like I've always needed more than just someone to talk to. I feel like I've always needed someone to help me restructure, reprogram, relearn, um, completely forget my traumas, because I feel like the way that I have in interpreted and internalized, the way that I've internalized my trauma has really been extremely detrimental to my mental health for a great period of my life. And I feel like that is the real thing. Like, it's less about talking about it. I can talk about it all day. I can talk about it right here on live. But when I get off of this live, I'm still gonna have those traumas, and those things are still gonna bother me. Like, I'm like for me, it's not about acknowledging what it is or like talking through it. For me, it's about how to not continue to carry it in my life, or like how to continue to, or like how to restructure my thought process around my triggers. I think that's what I need for myself. So, that last one wasn't even anything that I had an opinion on. I just appreciate the suggestion. Thank you, Alternative to Alcoholism. I don't really have any type of experience with alcoholism per se. I have had a drug addicted parent. Um, I don't really have a relationship with alcohol like that. I drink socially, but I'm also not a social person. I'm kind of a recluse. So I may drink if I go out, but the question is not if I'm going to drink when I go out, it's when am I going to go out? Do you get what I mean? Like, I feel like you'll have a harder time getting me to leave my house than you will getting me to drink when I leave my house, if that makes sense. Like, it's harder for me to get to the booze than it is for me to drink it. So if you could get me to a bar, I'll drink with you, but the hard part is getting me to the bar, not getting me to drink when I get there. So with that being said, that has been our show today. I appreciate every single one of you guys for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in to help me facilitate these conversations and have these talks, and listen to me read some articles, ramble through them. Excuse me. That's also part of me not reading these prior to. I'm kind of just reading through them for the first time and just giving my reactions. What do you think about the stories that I covered today? What do you think about Tori Spelling dropping $400 on Denise Richards' OnlyFans? What do you think about Sha'Carri Richardson getting kicked off a plane? What do you think about the Black Eyed Peas and T.I. and Tiny suing MGA Entertainment over Poopsie Slime unicorns and the LOL surprise OMG dolls? Um, and what do you think about the stories that I read today in Hey Ashley? Let me know what you think. Drop down in the comments. Give me all of your feedback. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast, Real Reality Realness with Brian K. James, anywhere that you can stream podcasts: Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Amazon, Audible, Stitcher, Overcast, Pocket Cast, all the places of the places. Anywhere that you can find podcasts, go stream that. Go stream my spinoff podcast, Housewives History with Megan and Brian, where we cover historical episodes of Housewives that week in history, and dissect them and then talk shit about it. Make sure you stay tuned for Groove and Gravity with Dave Lennon and I from the Lost in the Groove podcast. We're going to be coming together to do a combined segment about music and the completely uh historianized and heavily thought out, well produced deep dive that we do into artists and their legacies. Make sure you tune in here every day, Monday through Friday, for Chaos and Charcuterie. I appreciate you guys for being here. Stay tuned on Monday or Tuesdays for Drag Cap, my drag race recap with Zell or Sel from the Who Asked Me podcast. Yeah, and stay tuned for all the other things that I have going on. Thank you so much. Love you. Bye. Love you from the bottom of my green heart emoji. Be real, stay in reality, always bring the realness, misbehave yourselves, keep the mess in the message. Y'all know all the things. See y'all later. Mwah.